I'm delighted to welcome Julia Palais from Formula E, who's the Senior Sustainability Consultant. So thank you very much for taking the time to be with us this morning. So we're very much looking forward to your presentation, and the floor is yours.
The streets of exotic Hong Kong normally hum to the tune of fossil fuel traffic. But this weekend, those streets form a racing circuit for the all-electric racing series, Formula E. And we go green in Hong Kong! New York City green in roads, a good start in Marrakesh.
The first impression they have for motor racing is the noise. There's no noise on electric formula.
It's going to be a steep learning curve, but I'm pretty excited.
Andrea, are you okay?
It's dangerous.
Regardless to say, sustainability is a buzzword and a key word, not only in the sporting society, but also everywhere on our planet now. Formula E, our client, is one of the most leading sporting organizations to realize and implement sustainability. Formula E is world first electric street racing series, developing and demonstrating the greatest technology to tackle climate change and to make positive impact both on society and people through their exciting and inspiring races. For example, Formula E take actions, the global standard, which is famous as Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, created by the United Nations. They have 7 specific goals, such as well-being or clean energy, etc. Furthermore, last year, Formula E received the certification of ISO 2012-1, which is a new and international management standard to make an event more sustainable. It was for the first time to be certified in the motorsports domain. On the other hand, turning to the backstage, when they communicate with local suppliers, they experience sort of difficulty to realize the sustainability. Why? Because the level of understanding or implementation of sustainability is different from city to city with language barriers. In fact, in order to realize the sustainability more, Formula E have many to collaborate with the global partners and to leaving the positive impact in the local communities. In addition, Formula E have measured and monitored how impactful they did every season. What is more, Formula E is very keen to engage with local supply chains, such as local procurement or waste management, etc., to make them aware of the importance of sustainability. Our project zooms in here, local supply chain and event on-site. Today, we are going to introduce you our strategic communication plan to engage with local supply chain in order to effectively meet the Formula E sustainability goals. The project name is We Work Green. Before going deeper about We Work Green, I would like to introduce you our green members, David, me, Matthew, and myself, Yuki. We all together to stick to building up We Work Green program, focus on less cost, less time consuming. In other words, it is considered more feasible, more socially and economically sustainable. So let's move on the details We Work Green from the methodology.
So here is a quick overview of the methodology to describe how we proceed regarding our project. So as you can see on this picture, we had the opportunity to communicate with many people around the world. So the methodology is in 3 phases. The first phase is, of course, the literature review, and then for us, the opportunity to visit and to discover an IPRI at the beginning of the year. We had the opportunity to visit the IPRI in Marrakesh. Second phase is the face-to-face open interviews on site that we conduct with some global suppliers, but also with some local suppliers. Then we benchmark 5 other events. As you can see, there's 3 sports events, Roland Garros, Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games, and Tokyo Summer Olympic Games. And 2 non-sports events, which actually are music festivals, so Lollapalooza in Chile, and Paleo Festival in Lyon, which is just here between Lausanne and Geneva. So why these events? Because we think that these 5 events are really proactive regarding sustainability and that we can get a lot of best practice from them. Finally, the third phase was the analysis of the collected data and documents, and of course the development of our program, which is We Work Green. So, We Work Green. Before going into the details with our initiatives, I would like first to introduce you the main objective of our program. So, for our team, the most important was to develop a communication strategy with low cost and not time consuming. We really wanted to propose a program which is easy to implement. Of course, providing communication platforms between Formula E and local suppliers, and raise awareness on sustainability for the local suppliers. Here is a quick overview of the organization of Formula E regarding the organization of an IPRI. So you can see Formula E here as 2 main stakeholders. First stakeholders are the global suppliers. Global suppliers are the ones with who they work during the whole year, the whole season on all the IPRI. They have a direct contact with them. And the second stakeholder are the local suppliers. Local suppliers are the ones with who they work only on one IPRI. As you can see, they don't have a direct contact with them because most of the time they have to go through a local agency which is responsible to organize the IPRI. I put here the Sustainability Observer, which is one of our initiatives that I will go later on, but it's just important for you to see where this person is located in the structure. So, here are the 5 main initiatives of our program. Sustainability Observer, webinar, pre-race information session, accreditation card, sustainability trophy, checklist, debriefing, and final report. So we will go now more into the details within these 7 initiatives, and you can also find them on the poster that we distribute to you. So, first, the Sustainability Observer. At the beginning of our project, it became obvious for us that we would need a person dedicated to this role to communicate. What is important to understand here is that this person has an observation role and not a controlling role. This person has to meet the local suppliers and guide them and inform them about sustainability. That's the main goal. We decided to propose this person to be engaged through the local agency and not through Formula E for several reasons. First reason is that actually the sustainability department at Formula E, they are only 2 persons and they don't plan to open a new position. So that's the first reason. Second reason is that this person has to speak the local language. Of course, to communicate with the local suppliers, they have to speak the local language. And they have to be physically on site. So it's more simple to engage him through the local agency. And finally, it's going to be a short-term position. We imagine this position to be about a 20% full-time during the months before the race and 100% full-time the week before the race. So the main job of this person will be on-site. This person will have to meet the local suppliers and the local worker on-site, filling the checklist. We will describe the checklist later on. And after the race, sending a final report and recommendation to Formula E. Second initiative is the webinar. So webinar consists of an online educational platform, which will be mandatory for all the managers of the local suppliers to be able to attend the event. So what we imagine is a 45 to 60 minutes webinar with informations, video, facts and figures from Formula E to explain what are the sustainability goals. At the end of the webinar, we propose to have multiple choice quiz of about 50 questions, and to complete the webinar, the person has to respond with 80% minimum of correct answers to complete the program. This webinar will be created by Formula E, and so the webinar will be accessible via a website link, which will be sent from Formula E to the local agency and then dispatched to all the local suppliers. Third initiative is the pre-race information session. During the week before the race, there's a mandatory security meeting for all the local suppliers. It's the opportunity, it's the only moment when all the local suppliers are all together and that Formula E could have the opportunity to communicate with them. So we really encourage at the end of this security meeting to have a 5 to 10 minutes presentation of the sustainability goals of Formula E. That could be an opportunity for them to introduce the sustainability observer and the whole program We Work Green. I'll now pass the floor to Min, who will explain you the 4 next initiatives.
The next one is accreditation card. The main objective of new designing of this accreditation card is not only to utilize the card to identify the staff registered, but also to clearly raise more awareness on sustainability at the same time. Here, you can see the current AD card of Formula E, and the design has a strong emphasis on event logo in front, while identification and some warning messages at the back. But the new version, as you see here, will include ID photo and personal information and access code in front, and will have sustainability infographic at the back. So it is easy to read at all times when needed, and will help the accredited personnel to have seen the word sustainability at least once. Next one is trophy. The trophy will be produced at the very early phase of the race season and will be awarded during the debriefing session after the race. This trophy will be given to whom respected Formula E's sustainability goals throughout the event and who achieved the checklist. Then this trophy will be made out of recycled glass and not so big, like hand size, so it will also be sustainable. And through this engagement initiative, it will give a good exercise for local suppliers to think about sustainability when they put or display the trophy in their office. The next recommendation we propose is the checklist. Sustainability observer and manager together will complete and fill in the checklist during the race week, and the Formula E will be produced will produce all the necessary format and the template during the initial stage of the season, and this will be flexible to edit that can fit to the situations on each cities and type of suppliers accordingly. Then this checklist will be operated using electronic devices if possible to reduce paper. It's also for sustainability, and the result will be automatically calculated at the end. The last initiative is this. The team proposes to Formula E to hold a debriefing session after the race. The objective here is to evaluate the sustainability work and award trophies as discussed in the previous slide. And this is also an opportunity for further feedback and highlight best practices. And within 15 days, Sustainability Observer must submit the final report to Formula E, and this report will be used as a part of knowledge transfer tool for future race organizers and the local agencies in other cities. Then finally, please take a look at the timeline placed on your table and here in front. Based on our recommended proposals and engagement plans discussed earlier today, the team visually positioned all the required items in a milestone format to show when approximately the plan needs to be implemented. So at the beginning of the season, we proposed the creation of AD card trophy and webinar, and 1 month before the race, local agency hired sustainability observer and sent webinar link to local suppliers, and 2 weeks before the race, Formula E sustainability team educate sustainability observer, and during the race week, pre-race information session will be held as a part of security meeting, and after the race, the debriefing session will be held by Formula E, and within 15 days, as I said before, final report should be submitted to Formula E. And with all this, with going through all these initiatives, supply chain will be engaged, we believe. Then the conclusion and learnings will be next.
We hope you enjoy our program, and we really would like to see something around this line from 2020 and the beginning of the season 6 to finally better engage with the local supply chain, to raise awareness in terms of sustainability, and to continue to take the lead in terms of sustainable innovation that Formula E is undertaking from the very beginning of their activities in 2013. Our program is flexible, and Formula E will have to adapt it according to their needs and situation. For example, it can be starting the program and implementing it in some races that are maybe more convenient for them, because acting and making an event in Paris is maybe different to one in Tokyo or Marrakesh. And the trophy and the webinar are maybe more time consuming. Maybe we advise Formula E to start with smaller initiatives in order to build the program, to collect the feedback, understand how it goes, and see if it's relevant for their next challenges also. As a reminder, our initial objective was to have a local impact, make different communication strategy using different communication channels, and make a realistic and relevant scenario. And I think you have all understood that we do believe in our program, and we want you to believe in our program. We want you to think green, and we want Formula E to start the We Work Green program, because it goes directly to the local field of the race and have an impact, and especially on the managers. Because it is a relevant and realistic scenario that is low cost and low time consuming, and this is something very important for us. And because it is the next challenge of Formula E. At the beginning of this work, Formula E strongly desired to do something regarding the local supply chain, and we strongly advise them to continue to do so and make more initiative regarding this. One of our biggest learning we had is that there is spaces for communication. Formula E is active all around the world. They are traveling everywhere, and having me from South Korea, David from Switzerland, Yuki from Japan, and me from France, it definitely helped us to better understand the concern and challenges that Formula E is facing, taking into account and make the best out of it. Also, there is, regarding this bar graph, we understand that 75% of the total carbon footprint are represented by the freight and transportation. And this is coming from the last reports. In comparison, the event on site, which include the local supply chain, is representing only 3%, which means it is a minor part. And through this project, Formula E doesn't want to talk about numbers or statistics. It is more considering the sustainable discussion, make it growth, and considering each new participant to this discussion as a victory. Here at the end of our presentation, we would like to thank you, Mrs. Julia Palais, for being such an amazing client. Thank you, with very relevant feedback also. Thank you, Peter, for being here when it was needed. Thank you, Bruna, for the supervising, and thank you, AISTS, and everyone for being here.
engaging presentation. We now open the floor up to questions. I think we have the first volunteer.